Hi everyone, my name is Michael Bertoni and I am the founder and CEO of Philly Tech. I am so excited today for Tech Talks. This is going to be an unbelievable show. I have my best client on the planet, right? Best client, probably the best client in my career, right? Mike Kabo. He is the founder and CEO of GTI Travel. Thanks a lot for coming, Mike.
You're welcome.
So this show again, guys, is for entrepreneurs, tech startups, software companies, people that want to innovate through technology. This show is really for you and really help you be successful and launching things. So I personally have over 20 years of experience helping these types of companies succeed and really again excited to be here. So Mike is, when I first started working with Mike, basically he had the longest LinkedIn profile I ever saw in my life, right? It was like 45 years, right? So it was 45 years GTI Travel, and I was like, holy cow, unbelievable. So Mike, tell us a little bit about, I know you run GTI Travel, which is corporate travel management, corporate travel agency. But tell us what you did before you started. I don't even know if I've ever asked you this, but before you started GTI Travel, what did you do, right? What were you involved in?
It was the early stages of my life in the travel industry. And in the beginning, I was more of a vacation agent. We specialized in Las Vegas. And then as time went on into the 70s, I decided that there was a need for somebody in the business B2B market for corporate travel. And we launched. And we handle top financial institutions, some major league sport teams, law firms. We handle companies from coast to coast.
Yeah, so guys, this is extremely exciting. So we are going to be talking about GTI Travel, and we are building an extremely innovative travel software platform that we're going to talk about for GTI Travel, right? That is really going to change the market in terms of the travel industry. But tell us, because it kind of goes into this, the software is built around a lot of the things you've been doing for like 40 plus years, right? So tell the audience, GTI Travel, corporate travel agency, what do you do, right? What's the value you provide to your clients, right? Why would somebody need a travel agency?
The main reason is we are a double check and a spot check. Whether you do it online or pick up the phone and call us, we have too many people that have booked themselves the wrong dates in the wrong airports, don't know that if they change their day to a day later return or a day earlier departure, they could save anywhere from 30 to 60%. So we provide all the options.
Right, so a lot of people today obviously are going out, right? They're going to places like Expedia, they're going to places like Travelocity, Kayak, these places. Everybody thinks they can do it themselves, right? But in terms of businesses, right? The businesses that you work with, the mortgage, the banking, the sports teams that you work with, right? In terms of why do they really, what are the reasons you think that these clients really work with you? So I know that your team, you have dedicated people on the inside. Talk about the dedicated people, but also talk about the data that you gain about that client to give them a better experience, because I think that's really critical as well.
We speak with each company and we help them decide if they have a business model format on how they want to control expenses. We can do that for them.
Right.
If they're large enough, we can sometimes help with negotiated fares, and we can direct them. So we have a lot of companies over the years that said, you know what, if I need to book a trip, I'm going to spend 3, 5, 8, 10 hours on the computer, maybe more,
right,
and come up with bad information.
Yeah.
They call us and they're done in 3 minutes.
Yeah, so the other thing I think that's very innovative that you've done is more of a service-driven model around corporate travel, right, for your clients.
Correct.
Right, so I found that very interesting when we first started working together. A little bit different than what I thought, right? So maybe there were costs per transaction, but tell the audience, so people out there might be people in the audience that need corporate travel, somebody that's going to help them with corporate travel, with flights, with hotels, right? This is what Mike Kabo's company does. So tell the audience about how your model works in terms of that service model, right? How do you figure out at the end of the day, high level, how much it's going to cost? How do you figure all that out? Because I thought that was a very innovative model that you were doing.
We decide that what would be the best effect for the company. Some companies are fine with doing it online. Some people don't want to do anything online. Some people want to do their own homework and then provide us with the information they've uncovered. And we more or less then take that and fit that into what their business model says they could spend. So if they're allowed to spend a per diem, we follow that per company. Mm-hmm. And then we assign backup agents. And the difference between us and a lot of people in the marketplace is we assign a designated team for everybody. Mm-hmm. So if they're calling one of the megas, rarely will they get the same person, if ever.
Right.
With us, they get the same person and a backup.
Yeah, that's great. So what's really interesting, there's a lot of companies, not to the extent that Mike's GTI Travel, there's not a lot of companies like GTI Travel. But what I think is extremely exciting, guys, is there is a lot of small businesses. There's a lot of people in our audience who have a small business. So let me tell you kind of the background. So they're running GTI Travel. They're doing good business, right? They got great clients. And probably 10, 15 years ago, right, Mike? There's a guy in the team that built this travel management software, right? He built this, it was an older technology, right? But the idea was out there. And this software sat on the shelf, right, for probably 5 or 10 years, right, Mike? I mean, it's sat on the shelf. So again, you're a small business, you have ideas, you're like, I think I can innovate in this area. You might have already built something. That's when they called us in, right? And our main driver was upgrade this technology, right? And make it innovative, make it look better. But it's really going to change the game, guys. I mean, this software in terms of travel management, it really helps automate things on a massive scale in terms of flights, right? So the target is conferences, large conferences that need flights, right? Large events that need flights. Many times the travel agencies and Mike would tell you this, that they don't even do flights, right? They're just you're buying your ticket right to that conference or that event. Nobody cares about flights, right? And that's kind of what we're seeing. So tell the audience a little bit about, so we've been working together now almost 3 years, right? Tell us about the process from you had this idea, right? Because there's a lot of people in our audience that probably have ideas, right? And then what happened? Then you called us in. So tell us through that story of where we are now. That'd be great.
The business of meetings and conventions is what the software was built under. And it wasn't really technically shelved. We were looking for the game changer. And I said, well, none of these programs can handle airfare very well.
Right.
And it's a complicated event to get the model, as you've seen over the past few years.
Absolutely.
We built the model.
Yeah.
So we have a game changer in an annual $1 billion market that, while there's other competitors, nobody has what we do as good as we do it.
Right. Exactly. And that's what's really exciting. So when you're building software, you really need to look to innovate, right? So obviously when you're getting flights, people are used to going and doing it themselves. So if you're going to go to a conference, if you're going to go to an event, you're used to getting your flight yourself, right? But what if there was an easier way for that conference team or the company doing the conference, the agency, to basically just get you a link and be able to easily onboard you into the flights, right? It can drive a tremendous amount of revenue and really change the game. There's really no company in the industry right now that is doing what we're doing with this meeting software, right? So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit deeper. What, in terms of, for my audience, in terms of how we worked with you, right? So how's that been, right? Explain the journey at a high level for our audience. I mean, I could explain it, but I'd love to hear it from you. Hey, how am I doing, right? So explain the journey from when we started till now, how that's been, and let's talk about it a little bit.
We kind of went into it with a definition, and I call it the team of Mikes,
right?
Because we have three Michaels. We have you, we have Michael Hoey, and Michael Kabo. So it's interesting when we get into a three-man meeting, which Mike is saying what.
Right.
But everybody kind of really stuck to their place, and we kind of decided who's going to handle what in form. And over time, it evolved to where it's at today, where you're working along the chain of command of what you're working on. Mike H is doing the same. My team is doing the same. And it's a good mesh of the multi-teams.
So make sure you come back to Tech Talks, because we're going to talk about, at a high level again, what we built. And now I'm personally driving sales of this software product, right? And we have some tremendous opportunities that we're not going to get into specific details about. We're going to talk about it at a high level to explain, what we have going on. So come back to Tech Talks. Thanks.
Thanks.
Shelter dogs aren't broken. They've simply experienced more life. If they were human, we would call them wise. They would be the ones with tales to tell and stories to write, the ones dealt a bad hand who responded with courage. Do not pity a shelter dog. Adopt one.
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind-the-scenes footage, previews, and more.
I work 13 hours a day, 6 days a week. So when I'm off the clock, I gotta get stuff done. So when I need a snack, I need something healthy, tasty, and easy to eat. Like wonderful pistachios without the shells. They're protein-powered, delicious, and great on the go. And that's perfect for me. Thanks, Liz. A woman without a lot of time.
Whether you're
So welcome back to Tech Talks. My name is Michael Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of Philly Tech. And I have with me my best client, Mike Kabo, who is the founder and CEO of GTI Travel. So we were talking during the break, and again, we've got some very exciting technology and software that we're building for GTI Travel. There are a number of challenges that we are helping to solve with this technology and with this software. So Mike, if you could walk the audience through what those are, that'd be great.
Challenges in international travel is extremely difficult to do online, to do correctly online. There's usually a multiple of carriers. There could be other airport solutions. It may be cheaper going into one airport in France versus another. Mm-hmm. Same thing in London.
Right.
And different carriers have different fares, and then there's availability issues. So you always get the you see the advertised price that you can never quite find when you try and do it online.
Right.
That's what we do.
Right. So tell the audience as well about if you were a travel agency and you're trying to book, like all travel agencies today, right? If they didn't have our software, what would happen if they had a conference or a convention or a large event and they had to book 5,000 tickets? What would happen?
It would be extremely difficult to have the personnel on hand to do that without a program like Meetings Complete.
Yeah.
Meetings Complete can handle a good bulk of that travel.
Yeah.
And when there's difficulty, we have agents that drive you right through it. We try and do it short and sweet.
Yeah, this is extremely simple, right? Software, at the end of the day, solving a pain needs to be extremely simple, right? So you're going to an event, you're going to a conference, you're going to a convention. You probably have never, unless it was corporate and you maybe did it through Concur, you probably didn't even think about your flights, right? You just figure that out some other way. You're like, so we automate that, right? We allow the end user going to the conference or the event to book flights exactly like they book flights today, right?
Correct.
Exactly the same. Do it themselves, right? And then, hey, if there's a problem, if something gets canceled, you have agency backup, right, to do that. So extremely exciting. So let's kind of shift gears here, because in terms of what we're doing for GTI Travel, my company, it is the ultimate client for me. And let me explain why. Because Philly Tech not only has the ability to build software, we have the ability to sell software. And we understand the middle of the road, like why that's all important, right? So extremely exciting. We rolled out this software. We started hitting the market with it, right? And Mike, tell the audience the type of what we've been hearing from the market initially as we started rolling it out, finding opportunities, right? What are they telling us?
The market is telling us this is a game changer. This is a product that solves a lot of solutions, and it can do it in short order form. You know, we built it on a keep it simple foundation, and our mission was and still is that somebody could register for a meeting and book airfare in 5 to 10 minutes. Done.
Right. And it is extremely exciting, guys, because as a business owner, when I am building software for somebody, and when we started building this software, we're starting generally from scratch. We built this software. Then it's my job to then sell the software, identify opportunities in our targets, which again, our targets are going to be conferences, large events, large meetings that have a lot of airfare. We can do smaller things too, but the value proposition really becomes bigger when there's larger amounts of opportunities for flights, right? So I went out, built content, right, based on the website. Went out there, started identifying opportunities, right? And you know, so what's really exciting, we're not getting into the specifics around the prospects, but we're in a really exciting place right now, and I wanted Mike to kind of explain where we are, which Mike, talk about the fact that most software companies launch, and a lot of times the software, their pricing, their everything, we got that all figured out, and we're looking to drive revenue with our clients. So tell the audience about that, because that's really exciting.
My goal on that project was I didn't want to launch until I felt it was above 80%. Mm-hmm. And once it was above 80, we launched, we tested, and it works great. And I think it's going to continue moving along. We have a good team, and our clientele is growing significantly, and we're having no problems.
Yeah.
No problems is a good place.
No, it's really exciting, guys, to see the fruits of your labor. So there's so many software companies out there that are spending a long time building software, but then they're not able to sell it, right? So you have to have the talent in-house to be able to build and sell. You can't just build something and spend a tremendous amount of money on it. And it's really an interesting story around selling, because my partner and I, we've probably been talking to you, Mike, for what, maybe 6 months about, hey, we got to get out there and we got to talk to more people, we got to sell, right? So tell the audience about that, because I remember when we first started bringing it up, we're like, hey, let's talk to more companies, because what software companies have to do is they got to get out there, they got to test the market, right? They got to start talking to people. And then you figure out your model on how to sell, right? And you get opportunities. So tell the audience about that. So about that journey around, in your mind, you thought as the entrepreneur, well, maybe I shouldn't, a lot of people think, maybe I shouldn't sell this, maybe I should. And then you went in and then we started doing things. So tell the audience about that. I think that's very interesting.
It's a complicated piece of software, because our software has to take a number of different routes to successfully complete a booking. Could be airfare, could be car rental, could be varied hotels, could be different events in that particular function. Mm-hmm. So it was more important that we launched with a working product.
Right.
We needed to road test a successful product, right? And that was my mission, and still remains the same.
Yeah, so there's a lot of customers out there that need a little bit of a push, right? So many companies, they're conservative, right? They built this product, they feel, I need to be conservative. And then it's been a great balance, I think, Mike, like even with Carl too. The conservative nature of you guys and how we're building this, but then us saying, hey, I think we're ready, and then I only targeted about 5 companies, right? I didn't target 100 companies or 20 companies. I targeted 5 companies, guys. And you know what happened? What was unbelievable? We got into every company that I targeted, right? Within a few weeks. So that tells you we have something. That's what the other thing that's great is that told us we got something here. We're reaching, we're getting feedback on who to talk to from our partners and from people. And then I had an idea for somebody to reach out to, right? And Mike's like, yeah, go for it, Mike, go for it. It's like 5 or 6 companies, guys, right? That's what the software company needs. That's what the startup needs. Get moving, right? And it turned out to be extremely successful, and we've got a lot of great opportunities. So kind of on ending here, Mike, what's the future, do you think, in terms of the market in general for travel, right? You've been in it for years, right? So what do you see? What's changing in the industry? What do you think the future is going to bring for the travel industry?
I think it's important that people are able to find a good mesh between what they need. There's going to be times that they don't need a travel agent, and there's going to be times that they do need a travel agent. And they need to have somebody observing the booking, whether it's online or live to an agent, somebody that says, you know what, if you do this on Tuesday rather than Wednesday, you save money.
Right.
If you go into Charles de Gaulle, you'll save money.
Right.
So all these alternatives can result in significant savings, and that's what we do.
Yeah, so GTI Travel, guys, is locally based, right in the Philadelphia region, right? So tell the audience, Mike, how they could, I could tell them your website, but tell them how to reach out to you, right? What's your website, right? Your office is local. Tell them about that, and we'll finish off here, and hopefully my audience can help an entrepreneur.
The website is gtitravel.com.
Yeah.
I could be reached directly at 215-379-6020.
Giving out phone numbers over here, guys. How great is this? Text them. Text them today.
We still use the phone.
Yeah. That is so great. That is so great. So yeah, is there anything you want to end on, Mike? Again, I want to tell you personally, thank you. I mean, you are my top client, and it's been such a pleasure, and it continues to be a pleasure to work with you. So if you want to end on something, that'd be great. And let's get the audience involved here, right? You know somebody who needs corporate travel. Come on, let's do it. So Mike, signing off here, what are your last thoughts?
Last thoughts are, you need a good travel agent. We're the people to call.
Yeah, great. So come on back to Tech Talks, guys, every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Again, the other thing I want to say, if you need a great software development company or somebody to help you with their software company, come to Philly Tech, come to Michael Bertoni as well. Come to GTI Travel, and let's get it done. So come on back to Tech Talks.